So my name is Neil Watkins, and I'm the National Coordinator at Jubilee USA Network. We're an alliance of 80 religious denominations, faith communities, development agencies, and organizations working to win expanded debt cancellation and an end to harmful economic policies to fight poverty. I think both institutions are facing a turning point. At the World Bank, you have an institution which is sort of struggling to recover, I think, from months of negative press attention because of the crisis and the problems with Paul Wolfowitz and the allegations that surfaced against him. And now with the new president of the bank, Robert Zoellick, in office, I think a number of people are looking to Zoellick to see if he can step up to the job. And particularly the mainstream debate for the World Bank really is, can President Zoellick raise money, win the confidence of donors, especially governments like the US and the Europeans, in order to refund the International Development Association. At the IMF, I think you have a similar situation. There's another transition happening there, away from the current managing director to the new managing director just announced, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, who's going to be looking to sort of put his footprint on the institution. And I think amidst this mainstream debate about the changing of the guard, some of the debates that civil society has been putting forward for a number of years around the problems with economic policy conditionality, around problems of lack of accountability or poor governance structures of both institutions, have been lost in the fray so far, and I hope that the annual meetings are an opportunity for civil society to bring out some of those strong messages around the fundamental changes that are needed to these institutions. The big question for the new president is, can he raise the money that the World Bank is trying to raise? It's the largest amount that IDA has tried to raise and as long as it's been around. It's a huge amount of money, billions of dollars. And the question is, do the US government, do the Europeans, do other donors actually support what President Zoellick is talking about doing, and can he do it? And again, I think there's an opportunity for civil society here, because this has to be more about just money. It has to be about the quality of the policies, the quality of the governance debate, the impacts of policies on impoverished people, the impacts on the natural environment. And so far, that has not gotten out in the sort of mainstream press discussion of the International Development Association replenishment round. And I think that's going to be our challenge, is to try to get some of those messages out so that this is more about really transforming the World Bank's role. You know, at these meetings it tends to be, you get finance ministers and bankers and leaders from around the world coming together. You have these sort of, fancy parties that go on all over Washington. You have, endless meetings and consultations. But I think the success or the opportunity that we have at these meetings is to get out a different voice. And so I think if we're looking 3 or 4 days after the annual meetings, the question we should be asking is, were we able to get our diverse messages as civil society out, key messages around lack of accountability at the institutions, around the need to end some of the economic policies that have been in place for so long. And I think if civil society is able to come together and put forward strong and compelling messages, then we can help move the debate. I think that's really our challenge in the next few weeks. So the week of the annual meetings is also a global week of action on the IFIs and against debt. There are activities sponsored by organizations in more than 80 countries, and the focus of this week of action is calling for the unfinished agenda on international debt and some of the economic conditionalities that the IMF and World Bank are putting forward. And we're saying together as a global debt campaign that the debt crisis has not been solved, and there's more to do. So as activities take place across the globe, here in Washington, we're going to be organizing 3 days of activities leading up to the meetings, beginning with a prayer breakfast on Capitol Hill, which will end a 40-day rolling fast for debt cancellation, which we're currently organizing, called the Cancel Debt Fast. And that prayer breakfast is going to symbolically break a fast, and it's going to feature religious leaders from around the world really calling on Congress to step up and address both the need for expanded debt cancellation and an end to harmful economic policies, and by extension also bringing that message very clearly to the IMF and World Bank.